Lens Pictures for another reading series from The Flower Maker Part 2. And that's where we're up to now, and we're in Chapter 4. Just want to say thanks for everybody tuning in, for hanging on and going along with this whole reading series. Hope you're enjoying it, and we'll see where it keeps going. Hopefully you got your tea or something to drink with you. I've got my sipper going on here, and we're going to get right into it here. I don't want to hold off too much into the reading. It was a little bit strange getting on back on live today, but I don't know. YouTube has changed their thing or whatever. But so we're in the middle of chapter 4, Tablet of Destinies, and basically he's our artist is just walking down the street, down the main street on the way to his art show in the evening. I mean, that's where we are if you've been following along. Just a lot of things have been going on throughout the narration. Okay, continue the reading. Thanks y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Feel free to get into the chat and get things going in there. I'll speak to everyone at the end. Here we go. So, The Flower Maker Part 2. We're in the middle of Chapter 4, Tablet of Destinies. And something so simple as a chair in a restaurant can have memories and thoughts attached, such as, where am I supposed to sit? Where am I told to sit? And these things would lead to deeper thoughts, to where you've been told to sit throughout your life. Like in grade school, say 2nd to 6th grade, before they would just suspend you from school, like later on, or put you in internal suspension as to be at school, but in a dark room on the school stage behind the curtain, with the desks facing the dark wall for 6 hours, with only a hope you'd brought something to read. No, 2nd to 6th, they would display you in the corner of the classroom, or pull your desk all the way to the chalkboard at the front of the class, and your peers sitting behind you then. Or, if shamed to the corner, to face the wall, the society of your classroom would be distant, and you were made to appear the dunce. And things like this would be brought on by simply having something to say, such as, why are we working on the same math problem we've been working on for 5 months? It's the same as it was the first time. He'd been so excited, he still remembered distinctly, to come back from recess one day in the 4th grade, and the teacher, Mrs. Starza, had a new problem on the board, and she described it as long division. What a good name! This could be fun. And he liked that, excuse me, and he liked that showing his work was now built into the problem. That made sense somehow. And it involved some instinct and guessing how many times something might go into something else. But then, after 2 days, he realized this was just going to be the same thing for the rest of the year. Strangely, Mrs. Starza was the first teacher to say he should stay back a year due to his age being younger than everyone of his class. In athletics, his peers were a grade behind him, and so maybe that's where he belonged with his sports teammates. Now in his older age, he felt he should ju- excuse me. Now in his older age, he felt he just needed to encounter Plato and Kant at that age, and he would have realized some things sooner. 5th grade led to another question of, what am I doing here? During this period, he had switched schools and moved in with his father on the west side of town. And this teacher, let's call her Ms. Marone, proposed a class contest 2 weeks before Christmas vacation. And the contest would be, whoever can memorize "'Twas the night before Christmas" and recite it completely, flawlessly, would win the sticker or whatever it was for a prize he can't even remember. Because he had somehow ruined the entire game by going home that night and reading the piece over 200 times and going through it line by line to find meaning to each line to set it to memory. The next day of school, he approached the teacher, Miss Moron, and claimed he could recite the entire poem. He was quite confident because all morning he played it over and over in his head, and every few minutes would re-recite the whole thing. He was ready, he thought. Miss Moron scoffed and told the class, in an exaggerated tone, that we had a student prepared to recite the poem. He recited it perfectly, with dramatic emphasis, and had nailed it word for word. Quite proud of himself, he turned to Miss Moron. She stared with those beady eyes, and now with an accusatory tone. She sternly said, "How did you cheat? You cheated. How did you do it?" "I didn't cheat. I memorized it all last night." "You cheated somehow. Sit back down." There was no prize awarded. I suppose he can't remember now anything other than the shame. It was actually an easy poem to remember, he thought at the time, not like this Shakespeare guy. He had been embarrassed about reading in the second grade. He couldn't read out loud at first, like the other kids. Then he spent an afternoon at the special table with a few of the slower kids in class. And he went home that day embarrassed and started reading constantly, though he knew he couldn't keep up with the best reader in class, Jem, who played an instrument in band and always had a book in hand. He could check with Jem what he was reading, and Jem was always happy to talk about his newest book. Jem was working on the Lord of the Rings trilogy throughout fourth, and Spencer would talk about Gollum and There and Back Again, which again was one of those interesting names for things. He tried Tolkien and would always get bored of it. The movies distilled the best of it, but it was the book Jem had read before, wherever he was in the trilogy, that had changed our artist's view. He had taken it as a challenge, and when he finally knew where the red fern grows, it was an image he wouldn't forget. That's it for today's reading, folks. Hey, everyone in the chat. Hey, Kat. Thanks for tuning in. You got a live stream. That's great. Hey, Ronald. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so only 5 pages for today. That's what we got through there. Um, we're still in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is gonna be a long one, I think, of part 2. So it's gonna be a good amount of pages. Um, and appreciate y'all still sticking with it. And as we go through this story, you're learning it in a sense right after I'm coming down with it. So um, we've got a good another chunk of another book going here. So hopefully y'all have checked out part 1. You can go back to on my channel here, Blurred Lens Pictures. I'm Brent Noury. I've got a playlist for the Flower Maker part 1. You can reread all that, and this is part of the playlist, this series that we're doing right now, for Flower Maker part 2. And you can catch up on any of these sorts of readings that we've done. I know there's been few days in between, but I'm trying to distill some more of the thoughts and the ideas. And when I put historic references into it, I want to have a bit more. I want to let the idea stir a little bit exactly what I want to write about, because I just don't want to just tell a story about something. I kind of want to tell it the way my character wants to tell it or whatever. And so hopefully y'all are enjoying it and getting a kick all out of this, and it's something for you to look forward to each time you tune in. Oh, there we go, Cat. Try to catch some. Appreciate that. Um, happy Sunday. Hopefully, we don't get too much up here in the Northeast. We're beckoning for some snow, maybe, but hopefully we don't get it. I know some people up in Maine got some snow, but hopefully everybody at home's doing well. And appreciate you all tuning in. This is Blurred Lens Pictures. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like this, and I'll be showing up doing these live readings for this new book as it comes along. Appreciate you hanging with me as it takes time for each one of these readings to come out. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.